you mentioned asking the question, "Are you okay?" And you want to get the answer, like, "Yeah, I'm fine," because you're just like, okay. I mean, I asked the question and they're fine. How do you get people to want to ask that question when they know the answer is going to be like, "Hey, I'm not okay"? And then at that time, when they say that, how do you let them know that it's okay to not be okay?
Sometimes sometimes it's better to make it a statement rather than a question. Not "Are you okay?" but "Tell me what's going on." Something's different about you. I know something's wrong. Tell me what's going on. Is sometimes a better way to go at it. And also, sometimes it takes more than once. Empathy is a concern about someone, not just in a moment, but in general. It's also timing. Sometimes it's better in a quiet moment, and sometimes it's better in a hustle bustle moment. Sometimes it's better when someone's exhausted, because their defenses are down.
Guard down.
Their guard is down. And it's also just letting them know that you're there. Like, hey, listen, I know you don't want to tell me about it, but just so you know, I'm watching out for you. I'm here when you need to talk. Not if you need to talk. I'm here when you need to talk. And to instill in them, like, if not me, please talk to a friend. I know something's up, and I'm here. We have to create an environment in which somebody feels safe, and it's, we do what we can. But again, the real heavy lifting has to happen not at the moment that someone's in trouble. The trust is developed over the course of time. It's like airmen don't develop trust for each other as soon as they go off to battle. It's peacetime or back at base. It's all the time we're spending with each other and getting to know each other that we're developing relationships. That when you step off the aircraft in an AOR, you already know your brothers and sisters to the left and right, and that's ideal. So I think people have to remember that you can't wait until someone's in trouble to start to develop trust. You don't develop a circle of safety when someone's hurting. You have to develop circles of safety long before, so that if trouble ever arises, they're more likely to come to you and say, "Hey, boss, can I talk to you?" But that has to happen when they're happy and things are good, and So I think these are ongoing things. These are not reactions, and I think that's a big part of it, which is we consider these things reactions to hardship rather than a general process. It's like, you can't fix your body after you get the diabetes. It's like healthy lifestyle that may contribute to the creation of diabetes is something you have to do long before it, or some cancers or whatever it is. High blood pressure. Healthy living is better than treating something. Preventative medicine, I guess. Consider it preventative medicine.
So something that we talked about when we were walking back up was, I had told you that we've lost more airmen to suicide this year than almost ever in the history of the Air Force, nearly 120. How do you create that safe space, on a micro level, where individuals in the unit, they feel okay talking to one another, they have empathy, they know one another, but then institutionally, how do you create an Air Force where people are willing to go to mental health because they're not worried about their career, they're worried about themselves, or they're going to advocate for their friend to go to mental health because they want them to talk to someone because they know they're not well, or when it's okay to go to ADAPT and identify you have a substance abuse issue because you know that your commander's got your back.
It's a loaded question, right? Once again, because when we have an issue, we want to fix it as quickly as possible, and there are some things we can do that can have immediate impact, of course. But these are systemic things that are not unique to the Air Force, but that will sometimes take months or years to fix. And we have to start. It's all the things we've been discussing. Reduction of access to our devices when we're in the company of each other, having people learn their history of the history of the Air Force, creating more circumstances in which airmen can spend physical time with each other to do their jobs or to socialize, quite frankly, that they don't all just go off by themselves. A lot of these things about keeping people together. I'll give you one example, which I've had discussions with people about, which is when RPAs came online, we thought, this is amazing. What an amazing thing that somebody can, join the battle, join the fight, and then go home to their families. And we thought this was fantastic. We can take them out of harm's way and they can have a normal life. But what we found was that it backfired, because these people who carry this intense battle stress with them during the day, it's too hard to turn it off and just be mom or dad when they get home. And I've talked to people about this, which is we should be treating them like domestic deployments, which is if you're driving an RPA, you should be deployed to a base for X many months, and we treat it as if you're in the AOR, which is you don't get to leave. You're stuck on base. You're stuck on base with the people you're doing your mission with. You can call your family, and when you're done with your rotation, then you go home, because then you're around people constantly, even in off hours, especially in off hours, who have the same. You can talk out loud, even if it's, they have clearances. You can speak in detail, you can talk about your feelings more easily. You can share with them. Plus the gallows humor, which really helps, which you absolutely cannot bring home, because it makes you weird, The gallows humor is a necessary thing. So I think, we know this. There's very few combat suicides. It's because there's that intense camaraderie. And though no one enjoys combat, there's a weird warmth that people have for it. And what they miss is the intense camaraderie when our lives are at stake every single day. Our lives are at risk every day, and we only can rely on other human beings. It's that shared hardship and shared suffering that is so intense and brings us together. And I think where there are times of opportunity to put people together in times of shared hardship and shared stress, we should take advantage of that. There's good science on this. We know oxytocin is released when we have shared hardship. Oxytocin is the chemical of trust and love. This is why, when there's a national disaster or like a hurricane or something, neighborhoods come together. Politics are put aside. Nobody cares about any of these things anymore. We take care of each other. So I think domestic deployments are a big deal. And any opportunity we have to have airmen spend more time with each other, especially in times of hardship and struggle, only result in increased quality of relationships.